I am partial to today's readings because they mention food. You're going to hear a lot of food homilies about me over my time with you, I'll tell you that. But food's an important part of life, right? It's an important part, not just feeding ourselves, but what comes as a result of that food and people preparing it. One of the things that I'm enjoying at the rectory with the 4 priests is we shop together and we cook together and we eat together. That's interesting. I haven't done that in many years. I've been a priest very happily by myself in the rectory, but now I'm enjoying this new experience that I haven't had since I was here 30 years ago. There's something about food that brings people together. As you might remember, I grew up on Long Island, and then I came upstate to go to Paul Smith College for hotel and restaurant management, food. And surprisingly, at Paul Smith at the time, they had a food service, but it was just basic food service. It wasn't like outstanding. You'd think a place with chef's training at the time in hotel and restaurant management would have this top of the line food service, but it was fine. They had a salad bar, and you could plenty to eat. But I think the real problem is it wasn't home cooking. It wasn't my father's cooking. So while I had plenty of food to eat, I was hungry for my father's cooking. And when we came home from college, my father would say, "Well, what do you want when you come home?" And it was always the same thing. "I want your sauce." He made the tomato sauce. And in the tomato sauce, meatballs and sausage and just talking about it, I'm all a quiver here. And it was plenty of it. And the Italian bread he would buy from the bakery that morning on Sunday morning. And while the sauce was cooking, you dipped the Italian bread in the pot. So we came home and we had all of that, nice salad with it. And then when we were done, when you were getting ready to go back to school, he would package up the leftover sauce with individual packages. You know, do they still make the milk cartons or like the paper milk cartons with wax in them? They still use those? Okay. He would take those and rinse the milk out, and he would fill it with sauce and staple it together. In case, our fireman going out, in case some criminal would see this milk and think it was sauce. No, it's just milk. Don't steal it, right? Okay. So while I was away at college, I had a little microwave and break open that sauce, and I'd have meatballs, and I would have the sauce. I had home. It was home. Now, what was I hungering for? Was I hungering for his sauce? Yes, absolutely. I would give anything to sit at his table and have his sauce again. But I was hungering for a lot more than his sauce, wasn't I? I was hungering for home. I was hungering for him. I was hungering for the love that was around that table. Now, I didn't know all that when I was 18 years old. I just knew I was hungry, and I knew my father could feed me. Not only there, but he sent that love with me back to school in the form of care packages. Food. So today in the gospel, we hear that Jesus hears of the death of John the Baptist, and he goes off to a private place by himself. Just stop there and ask yourself this question. Why? Why did he go off by himself? It's like that, you read it and it's almost done. But why did he go off by himself? What was he looking for? And what was he going to find by himself? He was going to find his Father in prayer. His cousin, John, was murdered. Why? He was murdered for his faith. And Jesus heard that, and he just wanted to go to his father. Now, on his way, we hear the story of all the people. Here he's going, and they show up there, and he does the right thing. He takes care of them. But he was hungering for Dad and all that love. And then we have food again. They're out listening, and Jesus is feeding them with his words, right? And then in front of the disciples, who at times were clueless, with all due respect to the apostles, and much less clueless than I am, I'll tell you that, but they were clueless. Maybe we should send them away so they can go buy themselves some food. I get you in church. Last thing I want to do is send you away. Send them away so they can go get food for themselves. And Jesus says, you feed them. You feed them. Well, all we have is this little bread and this, and he shows them what he can do with that little that they bring him. And then he feeds them overwhelmingly with the bread of life and some fish. So my brothers and sisters, I want to ask you a question. And I like my food. What are you hungry for? What are you hungry for? When we were younger, we thought it was all the things that could feed us. We thought it was fun. I'm all for having fun. We thought it was money. Money has its place. We thought it was stuff. We thought if we were guys, we thought it was girls. If we were girls, we thought it was guys. Whatever. We thought other people could be what we're looking for. And some of us went looking for love in all the wrong places because we were hungry. We were hungry. What are you hungry for? And you're in the right place to be fed by our Heavenly Father. Don't go anywhere else. You get it right here. Enjoy your pasta when you get home. And you're going to be making pasta tomorrow, I'm sure of it, after that story. But just remember, God has fed this, and then you can feed this.